Okay, we'll just do that for right now.
With me in your head because I didn't.
No, I did. I told
hear
you.
Any of this. This is all like completely new stuff. So weirdo. I feel like you need to move over more because the thing's right in your face. $10 seconds.
This is Govs Radio. Govs Radio.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show, coming at you live from Governor's Comedy Club, the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Thanks for joining us this morning. GovsRadio.com is the website. You can see our show there live right now.
How do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony and Sallie on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're going to keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie. Hey, how do you say it?
Hi, everybody. It is Friday. It is July...
the 29th.
July 29th. Welcome, everybody, to the Knockem Dead Comedy Podcast, live on Governor's Comedy Club Podcast. That's the name of the Facebook page. That's the name of the YouTube channel. But we are interacting with you guys on the YouTube channel. So please comment and say hi, and we'll say hi back and hang out with us. And please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel and copy and share the link and share it all over your social media pages and phone calls. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcasts. We're getting right into this, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. Andy's here, and Mick Thomas is here. Welcome, Mick Thomas.
All right, lads. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Nice to see you, pal.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We're going to get right into this. We actually have a surprise for you. We have a special announcement.
Oh, nice.
We're actually going to name something after you here at Governor's Comedy Club.
Oh, really? What is it? The toilet?
Well, close. It's the sink. Because you used to say on the Almost Irish podcast how you like to pee in the sink.
Yeah, I still do.
Leave him alone.
That's been a big topic of conversation around here.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It's funny because when I talk about that on stage, the amount of women that just look at their husbands and they're like, and they're doing this face. They're like, I don't. I go, no, you fucking do. You do. You do. And then they go, yeah, you do. And I've had guys come up to me after shows when I do that bit, and they'll come up to me and they'll go, why did you tell? Like, what? Like, and I go, sorry. It's like, I need material from somewhere, and if I gotta throw all of us under the bus, then so be it.
It's almost like cock blocking in a sense. Like
Yeah,
it's,
it really
Yeah.
is.
Same level of
It really
deception,
is. It really is. I do it all the time. It's easier. It's more convenient. It's the right height. Right,
Well,
it's the
true,
right
yeah.
height. You use less water pissing in the sink than you do. Like even my friend back in Ireland, I was telling him that, and I went to use his downstairs bathroom when I stayed with him last time I went back to Ireland, and he was like, "Did you piss?" I go, "Yeah, you know I do."
Everywhere
I
you
do.
go now, someone wants
The only
to
way
know.
I don't do it is like obviously you go into those but I'm telling you, I've walked into like restaurants and I'm like, you'll have a stall, the urinal, and then the sink. I'm like, well, this is for everybody. I can't. But every once in a while, you'll go to like a bathroom, and it's like just got, you lock. It's got the urinal toilet, but it's only just for one person. I'm going in the sink every time. Provided the sink isn't like it's not that deep where I have to make a mess on something. No, absolutely. Run the tap.
true.
Less water, better for the environment.
And you're right about the hike, 'cause I'm sure you could
It's
just
right there.
You could just rest it.
Lob
You
it in.
don't have
And
to
in
worry
the
about aim.
summertime, you know how when you put those hot balls on that cold marble, or whatever. I don't use marble. I'm not that fancy.
Saving lives here.
Yeah, man.
We're
It's just
saving lives.
refreshing because we always come home and we air condition, but we never take care of our balls, right? And it's the number one killer for men is ball
Testicle,
cancer,
yeah.
right? And we never give them any pampering, nothing like that
So
at
your
all.
bid is you're it's basically a public service announcement.
That's
You're-
what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But
So
women
thank you,
don't
man.
women
Thank
don't
you.
understand it. Like I get it. I think it's out of jealousy.
Probably.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know you'd be outing people. Like, I remember when I was like, I don't know, in my like 20s, and a friend of mine said, "Yeah, all guys jerk all the time, whether they're in a relationship or not." I'm like, "No, they don't." Like, no, they don't. Like, once you're in
Yeah,
a
you
relationship,
do.
you don't. He's like, they do.
Yeah.
So I went to my boyfriend. I was
It's
like,
funny though
I was
that
like,
like,
you
you think you're
jerk.
the savior.
Right.
I'm like, you would do that. I'm like, you do that when we're like, we're in a
Messiah
relationship.
complex.
And he's like, no. I'm like, apparently you do. And he's like, yeah, I do.
And were you upset, offended by it?
No, I just didn't know. Like
Yeah.
now that I know.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't
that's the arrogance of women.
Now that
they
I know
think they
peop-
can cure wanking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a disease. Like it's a condition. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a wanking pandemic out there. Get the girls out there. There
There is that
They got
moment.
their wanking uniforms on, and we're gonna save the world.
But you feel like you're being cheated on. So like there is
Really?
that like moment.
Why?
Yeah, because you're like I'm not everything.
Yeah, but it's not that you're not. It's nobody saying that you're not. I mean, if you're having a wank, I mean, it's been very rare in my life. Like this is way better than anything I've ever done. But
Yeah, that's true.
You just want to maybe sometimes you need to jump start you in the morning before you walk out the door. Or, you know what I mean?
I need help getting to sleep sometimes.
Isn't it weird?
It's
You
like
can
a
use it
Yeah.
to jump start you in the morning,
That
and like,
is
I'm
true.
energized now.
Yeah.
And then, or else you can go like, I'm never going to be able to sleep. Right? You come back from a show, you're wired. Like, let me just.
It's the answer to everything.
Down you go. It really is. I don't make
Panacea?
I don't make any decisions in my life without like clearing the barrels.
Yeah.
I don't, because it can mess with your process of thinking. I remember, I won't mention his name, but I was at a casino working there, and I was working with two other comedians, and the comedian had his friend down, and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Look, I'm getting married," and this girl came up and started talking to me. He's like, "I'll never." He goes like, "She's a 10." I didn't see her. He's like, "She's a 10." He goes, "I'll never get this opportunity again. Like, what should I do? I'm going to get married." And I go, "Look, here's what you do: go upstairs, rub on out." And I go, if it's meant to be, then come on back down, and then that's your journey. You deal with that. Right. But if not, we'll see you at breakfast. And he goes, all right. So he goes upstairs, and I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to the other comic, and I get a text message, "I'll see you tomorrow morning." And I was
Yeah.
like, cleared his head. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't even
Cleared the barrels.
So if you get it, because you have kids,
I do.
so if you get a call from the school, something about your kid, you're like, hold on a second, I need to clear my head to think about this. Thank you.
Well, they don't
Mr.
let you do it in schools
Yeah.
anymore. Someone ruined it. Thanks, Jared. Someone ruined it for somebody, didn't? There's always one. There's always one. Yeah, man.
I'm kind of worried that you're shooting more than one barrel.
Well, yeah, it's really good for you, by the way. It's actually, when they look at men with suffer with prostate cancer, they did a survey on it, and it's weird. Like, you can ask me to name like capitals, and like if you say what's 4 times 8, I have to go, 32, but I can rattle off percentages about wanking. like I came from the Institute of Jerking Off.
The Rain Man.
Yeah.
Of,
But you can have, I think they said like out of 80% of the men who died of prostate cancer did not ejaculate more than 3 times a week.
Right.
And because what happens is all that stuff backs up
Yeah.
and it turns into almost like a chemical, and so you're kind of squeezing the sponge,
Yep.
cleaning it out and getting a fresh start. So it is a necessity.
Very healthy.
All right. So, well, before we go any further, I need to go clear my head.
Yeah.
Put your balls on the person.
There you go. So what's been named, by the way?
What's what?
Are you naming
sink.
it? Is that a joke or is it like
it's the sink.
Oh, no, it's been a topic of conversation around.
all right?
here,
Well,
yes.
I want a plaque.
Plaque.
I want a
Plaque
plaque.
above the sink.
And what might help a lot of people in here, a lot of haters too, is like put my picture on it and then just
Yeah.
piss on my face.
Put your balls on it.
Put your
like a
yeah, or
picture
like
of
Jane
naked
change the
Fonda.
sink,
balls.
put a little divot in the top of the sink, sell like hotcakes.
We'll do like a cutout on your mouth.
That's it. That's all you got to do. Do you know what's so funny? There's toilets. I don't know why we barely started the show and all we're doing is something about wanking in toilets. Very classy. But there was a thing done that if you go to JFK, right, they have a fly baked into the urinals.
What do you mean?
Baked like a fake fly baked into your. So when you go take a piss, again, you can't relate.
Oh, to aim.
We'll just go at the fly, and it causes less of a mess. So the guys, there's no mess to clean up. Everyone gets in
That's
there
smart.
100%.
In the Air Force, there's we always had a urinal target of Jane Fonda.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know the story behind that, but in
No.
the Vietnam War, she was protesting. She went over to North Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
And had her picture
I
even
thought you
taken.
guys just had weird fetishes because she was kind of hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that, yeah. Although,
You know, some guys are into feet, other people just want to pee on Jane Fonda's face.
you know, they almost called it the Golden Shower Force, but we settled
can you
on the
imagine
Air
that?
Force. It's
Can you
just
imagine that?
it rolls off the tongue a little
what the
bit.
uniforms would have looked like.
It would be like sailor's outfits.
Yeah.
With
I mean, they're wussy enough. The sailors' outfits are right. Yeah,
Yes.
I think you
with their
guys-
names written on their
Yeah, I think the
asses.
Piss Patrol can beat that one.
Jeff Bosey says, I'm definitely not going to die because I do it 3 times a day, he says. And Chris Thomas says, Mick Thomas, so funny, wonder if we're related.
Probably not. I'm just going to go on a limb there. The Thomases have a very small tree that we all fell from.
Chris Thomas, yeah, she's a big fan of comedy. She loves you, and
thank
actually
you,
she was
Chris.
one that introduced us to Dennis Rooney because she knows Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
thank
actually
you.
is true. Yeah.
Dennis is lovely.
Let's because we got to point this out several times. Tomorrow night at
Yeah,
the brokerage.
where are you?
Mick Thomas.
Yeah, brokerage. The first club I actually headlined ever
kidding.
was the brokerage, and I didn't even know. I got there, and usually on the Thursdays and Sunday shows when you're coming up, you're just grinding, you're working hard, and all of a sudden you had a bunch of guys, 4 or 5 guys up, and then you had a headliner. And then I just came in one day and we got the lineup, and it was like I saw my name at the bottom of the list or the top of the list, and then I was like, oh, that means someone's probably coming over, and they didn't need to write down a Joey Cola or a Keith Anthony or something like that. They just didn't need to write it. And then it was like, no, you're gonna close it out, and I was like, wow. So yeah, it's funny. I'm back there again this Saturday.
Nice.
So I'm excited.
How long ago was that?
15. It wasn't 15 years. About a little over about 10 years ago, I'd say. It was about almost 5 years in when they started to headline.
Okay.
So that was.
I'm trying to think because I believe that's when I first saw you. I didn't post that picture. I think I've showed it to you before. You had the
Yeah.
long hair.
I've had the long hair a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think did you have
throughout.
long hair when you were in here doing the podcast, I think?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been in America?
Almost 20 years.
Wow, okay. Cool.
Almost 20.
So the brokerage is like, would you or brokerage or here? Would you consider? Is that like consider it a hometown gig or no?
Well, anywhere on Long Island, because like getting off
Yeah.
Long Island is just the worst. You know what I mean?
Sure
Like, so
is,
if I have
yeah.
to go down to New Jersey or somewhere, or Connecticut, or even up to Boston, wherever I'm going, it's just getting off the island is the biggest. It's the biggest part of it. Because I don't mind the open road. It's great. I got podcasts.
Sure.
I got audiobooks. It's all I do. And it's easy sailing. But getting off this
It
island
is.
is just
We were
awful.
actually talking about that like last
It's
night.
awful.
Like you look at the map and you're like, why couldn't the 135 just go like right over?
Yeah.
to like just
Just that's it.
So that was sentimental. So it is a hometown
Yeah.
gig.
Yeah, it is. It is. Anywhere on the island, I consider a hometown gig. But yeah, it's either McGuire's, because McGuire's is only like 7 minutes from my house.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, anywhere. One of these clubs are kind of are my hometown.
Nice.
You
So
know.
what county are you from?
Wexford.
Oh, cool.
Wexford.
Down
yeah.
in the southeast.
Not many people know that. Yeah, not many people know
There's
that.
there's even the statue of J.J. Barrie.
John Barry,
Yeah.
the founder of the U.S. Navy was from my hometown.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, yeah, and they have the same statue in Philly, and they have the same one in my home. I don't know why we have a statue of him in our hometown, because like, well, it's not fucking our Navy. Like, why?
Right.
Like, you fucked off and left us, and you
Yeah.
built a bigger army than and then you left us here fighting the British.
Maybe it's
with a
unfinished.
canoe.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe they were going to have somebody shitting on him.
Yeah,
Like a
maybe.
bag
Just
of
never got
rocks.
around
I got
to
nothing against him, but like,
completing
it's
the
like
thing.
The
Yeah.
plaque on the bottom says, "This man is a traitor."
If you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
him here, smack him.
Yeah,
If you
this
see
guy-
his, if you see his grandkids, punch them in the face.
He didn't have enough potatoes, and he just packed up and left and went to America. And yeah, there's a bunch of people were from Ireland, actually, for the that are involved in American politics.
Oh, yeah?
Through the history of politics. Yeah, so many of them.
Because
Go ahead. Sorry. No, please.
Waterford Crystal is
Yeah, that closed down though.
Yeah,
Waterford
no.
Crystal closed down. But even like someone like who was it? Hercules Mulligan was from Ireland.
right.
He was probably one of the biggest key factors in the Revolutionary War, because he was like a tailor for the British. So he would go,
Right.
measuring these generals their pants, like move their dicks out to the left, just all this stuff, whatever, measuring them up. And these guys are talking like, all right, well, we'll come in this way, we'll have a fucking fleet of coming this way, and then he
nice.
would just run back and tell Washington all this stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Well, and that was something that interested me about you too, because I don't think you do it anymore, but you were doing videos for a while, basically just sharing American history, depending on what town you were in.
Yeah, I was. It was kind of like just kind of seeing what was going on in the town, and because most when I go to a new town, I can't just sit around. It's not who I am, And I go out, and I was like, you go to Connecticut, you go like, what can it's fucking Connecticut? I'm like, you know what? Mark Twain's house is 5 minutes from here. Let me go hang out with Mark Twain's house, and and all it is like you learn about it. Like even crossing the George Washington Bridge, you give a little bit of history of it, and you try make it funny. But yeah, I gave up on that though. It was just kind of.
I found it interesting because
Yeah.
it seemed like you knew more about American history than I did, so I learned a lot from you.
Well, number one, I love history. It's one of my favorite subjects. Number two, I just read it before I recorded it too. So it was like, I'm not, just give me the words. And then really, that many people? All right. I'm like, well, about 4 million people. Cross this bridge every day.
We're like,
Yeah,
he's so smart.
Right? Yeah. How
That's
does he
all
know
it
this?
is.
He should be a
Smoking
teacher.
That's all anyone is. Just read it the day before.
But you are a big history.
I
buff.
do. I love history. Yeah. I don't know why I'm drawn to it.
I think the older I get, the more I'm drawn to it.
I think that's
you know?
it. I don't. When you're young, you couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, and then you
about
open up
history.
like your kid's history book. You're like,
Right.
no way. It's just like
Yeah,
really
but I just
interesting.
remember the movies I was drawn to as a kid, like movies that I mean, obviously I saw your blockbuster movies when you were a kid, but like I used to love like hanging out with my grandfather or else even my own dad of a Saturday, and you'd watch like old John Wayne movies, even usually like the Western, and then you would go back to like Sinbad, and it was just like our Jason the Argonauts. Even of course they're not true or based on any kind of historical fact, but the time periods were
Well,
real.
the stories are
Right.
that old.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So you kind of, and I loved Bible stories because just based on, and it was never about the message and whatever. And,
Right,
but even in school, like religion was always fascinating to me because like, yeah, that's what they did back then, and that's how they lived, and that's what
Sure.
that was about. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. But then as you get older, then you're out of school and like, all right, no more history, you're done.
Right.
And I was like,
Yeah,
but I
you kinda
kind of
miss it,
I kind of
yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? I love reading about like Spartacus and all those guys and
Yeah.
people like, yeah, well, no, and then people will debate you about Spartacus. I'm like, look at that asshole. There's only 4,000 words written about Spartacus. That's it. The Romans got rid of everything, so everything you read is
Yeah.
is theory.
Right.
I
You
am
know what I mean?
Spartacus.
Yeah. It was all these guys like, well, no, he actually didn't. No, you're basing it on a television show.
Right.
That was the worst when someone watches a movie
Yeah.
or a
Cartoons.
television, like Bohemian Rhapsody. Right, huge Queen fan. So I'm watching
Yeah.
it. Like
And
I
you're like,
find these biopics.
I watched it. He's the same, and I'm
Right.
watching a movie with him, and he's like, "Oh, it's wrong."
But please
oh.
go on, because I have an issue with that
Yeah,
movie. So
but
please.
biopics are okay if you don't know anything. Like I know of Elvis. My parents, my mother used to listen to Elvis. You know, I know him. I think he died on my birthday on the toilet.
He did.
It would be great if he died in the sink.
Yeah, right.
Full circle.
Yeah, reincarnation.
Repressed memory suddenly.
So but I don't know much about his personal life as such, apart from the odd story that comes up. So if I go watch that new biopic about him that came out, I couldn't correct it. But when I watch Walk the Line, Queen, The Doors, like these are people I'm fans of. I go, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. June Carter was a bigger drug addict than he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you watch this stuff, and then the youth will come out and they'll watch him. Yeah, did you know that he was like, no, asshole, you saw that in a movie.
Yeah,
like that
and it was
didn't happen.
wrong.
That movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, makes me mad.
Yeah.
Like, I blissfully just loved it because I don't know anything. And then we're sitting in the movie theater and he's just mad.
Mad.
Yeah.
He did not have AIDS for Live Aid. The challenge was not, am I going to make it through Live Aid with this disease? That didn't happen.
Right. I heard a young comic talk about, and he comes into I think it was at the comic strip, and he sits at the booth with the comics, and he had a Queen t-shirt on, and I'm with, like, at the time, rest his soul, Vic Henley will make you realize you know nothing about music. Like, you think you do until you talk to Vic Henley.
Right.
And he's an old Southern guy, and he was on every radio show. He opened up for every band. Like, you name the band, he opened up for him. And he would tell you these stories and we'd go on. So the kid was there and he was like, hey, you know, like your shirt and that kind of stuff. He goes, yeah. And the conversation came up about Queen. And he goes, you know, one of the epic stories I love about Queen is like when they got into a fight and then John Deacon broke it up by playing do-do-do. Like, you idiot. That didn't it's happen. A funny moment in the movie, right? Asshole. And it's just... and it's great to introduce like old bands to new people. That's great,
right? But
shut the fuck up about it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Just stop.
But then, like the Beatles documentary that came out 6 months ago. How long ago did that come out?
Oh, the Get Back thing.
That was fantastic. Did you see it at all?
I didn't watch it.
But that's not a biopic. That's
right.
Yeah, but I'm saying like things like that. Like I could watch stuff like that all the time.
I watched that. You watch Gimme Shelter, the Rolling Stones. I watched their stuff all the time.
Right. The part where the Hells Angels kills the guy. Yeah, that gets
insane.
Me every time. Man.
That's insane, man. Like just everything about them, and even in their tiny little caravan. Like, you realize how vulnerable. Like, now there would be backstage a helicopter waiting to get him.
Right.
As soon as the show's over, offstage helicopter.
Like Billy Joel.
Gone. Now they're in a tiny caravan that at any moment could be burnt down.
Right, yeah.
You know? And, it's just... I'm fascinated with all that stuff.
So when you were traveling around and doing those little videos where you would read it first, what town surprised you the most as far as, like, being something really interesting, and what town disappointed you the most?
Boston disappointed me the most. Boston, I don't know why. Maybe it was the area I was in Boston.
What area?
I don't know.
But like Boston,
right?
It wasn't like Springfield or anything like way out.
No. I've been up in Boston a few times, and I never had a great experience. The club, I would go up to Laugh Boston up there. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. Crowds are great. The real people come out. Great show. But for you to kill time. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on up here.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible.
How many times
really
can you walk around Quincy
Well,
Park?
I went up recently. Where was I? I was in Laugh Boston again last March, I think it was.
Although there's a lot of historical things to do in Boston.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
But once you've done them once, it's like, all right. And it's like, and they're not even proud. They're really Irish up there because they're not proud of anything that they do. They're like, yeah, it's the fucking harbour, right? And that's like same with us. Like, you go to Ireland, we don't pat ourselves on the back. We don't do that. Like, we don't even pat ourselves on the back. Do you know what I mean? We have nothing. We don't. It's just we don't reward each other. We don't big each other up. We do none of that stuff. But so I went up there recently. Took the family up. Said, you know what? Because my show was early. I'll come up. I was on part of with three other Irish guys. From Ireland, who I tour with. I'm touring with them again now. I'm out to Columbus next weekend, Minnesota the following weekend with these guys.
Wow.
And so we were up in Boston, and the guy running, I goes, yeah, why don't you go first so you can get the family and get out of here? Like, perfect. That's all I want.
Nice.
We were all doing 20 minutes each, in and out. So I took the kids up, and everywhere you went, I guess there's so many Asian students up there now that the whole place where we were was just everything was Asian. Like, there's so many boba tea and noodles now. Like, that's all you could get. I'm like, what the fuck is boba tea?
I was about to ask you what that is. I don't even know what that is.
It's a tea with these balls at the bottom of it, right? And you get a straw about that wide. I'm like, all right. My daughter's like, try some. Now, I thought these balls were like to add flavor to it, but they're not. So you're drinking it, obviously, these things go shoot down your throat. I'm like, everything is Asian. Everything is anime stores, and I'm like, this is Boston.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
This was
I haven't
never
been
in the
there.
Departed.
How many years ago was I there? Like,
You moved from Boston 8 years ago.
yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah, and the people were lovely. Like, I can't, like, I like the people. I love how angry they are, and you know,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. But that was, you know, that was kind of like a big letdown. But I think the biggest, the one I liked Allentown.
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania,
Really?
when I went down to those old steel mills, which are now, you can go as a tour.
Yeah.
Like, it's just open. It's not a guide walking you around, but you get to walk around all these monster steel stuff. And I remember
It's all shut down, right?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
they made like Transformers there. They've made a bunch of movies there and stuff. But I just remember, like, I like the history of, like, this town used to be amazing. This is what they built,
Right.
and now with the flick of a switch, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
like
and I-
Michigan when they closed the
Yeah,
car
yeah.
factories, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember
Oh,
just
that's
walking around. Like, I made one of those travel videos 2 years ago, and I was like, yeah, and I was telling all this stuff about steel, and I could just imagine my engineer teacher back in Ireland. Just fucking couldn't get him to open a book in Ireland, and now look at him. He's fucking an expert on different types of welding. The shithead.
Right.
That's the fact that it's Boston disappointed him. I'm gonna
It makes him really happy because
Yeah.
I
Not
was
the
like,
people though.
Like
So if
that.
there's any Boston people listening, like, I
Yeah.
love the people. I just think your town is like there's a road in Boston. That's how bad the driving is in Boston. There's a road. I don't know
yeah,
if you came across it.
they
There's one
hate you
road,
there.
massive sign, and it says the road back to Boston. So they know, like, this street is called Road Back to Boston. Because, yeah, if you're up this far, you fucked up here. Just go around. That's
Yeah.
what it's for. That's what the street is for. Like, I made a wrong
they
turn.
don't want you to bring your car in there. They just want you to use the transportation. They don't make it easy at all.
Yeah,
There's no, like, you know, in New York City, everything's avenues and streets
Yeah.
and what numbers. And in Boston, it's like just like Flower Street. Like, you never know where you are ever.
The first
Yeah.
time I went when I was a kid, we actually all got shirts that said,
beat us up.
I survived Boston. Kill me. I survived Boston traffic, and it had like a
Really?
car tread
Yeah.
across the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would
I mean,
you-
I always say, like, the things that I like about Massachusetts is their education is fantastic for, like,
Of course.
you know, the kids and stuff. And so I'm always like in Boston because, you know, like when we moved here, like my one son, I had 2 kids, and one of them is like really bright, but the older one, he does really well, but in Boston, they're like a year ahead.
Yeah.
Easy. And so when we moved here, he was like, this is the greatest year of my life because he did like everything already. And so it like gave him a break.
Right.
So that was like the funniest thing. He was like, this is the greatest year that'll ever happen to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to show you too, right? He's probably the smartest person in the room, and that's
And then the following year he caught up with like,
right. But you never. That's the problem. You never want to be that guy. I tell my son, you never want to be the toughest guy in the room, right? Because that's as tough as you're going to get. Then you never want to be the funniest guy in the room, because that's it. That's how funny you get.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the smartest, whatever it is, because then eventually that's your limit. Then you
That's
always
it.
got to have
You
someone
petered out.
Yeah, and that's what happened. He's like, all right, he rode that for a while.
And then the rest of his,
Somehow I'm a year behind now.
now I'm 4 years
How did
behind.
that happen? I don't even know what I knew.
What was your impression of Long Island when you first came here? Did you came here because you met your wife, right?
Yeah, in Dublin.
So you met her there,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
decided to follow her back.
Yeah.
So when you got
Well,
here,
when we
you're
were
like,
getting,
what the fuck?
when we were going to get married, it was like, where do you want to live? I gave her the option, so we can live over there, we can live over here. I didn't give a shit. I was a Rolling Stone. I'd go anywhere.
Yeah.
And she wanted to stay here, so I was like, all right, so be it.
And
But
she's
when
from
you
Long
got
Island.
here, we were like,
Yeah, she's from Long Island.
yeah.
No. It was weird because, like, when you live in another country, you just assume, even though you travel a lot, but you just kind of assume that when you, like, traveling and living there is different. So you just kind of assume that everyone's the same. But, like,
Right.
when I worked, first job I had when I came here was with Bank of America.
Oh.
And I just couldn't realize how rude people were over their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
true.
what? Like, you know, and you see subtle things. Like, I remember, and this sounds weird, and nobody believes me. They think I'm making this up when I tell them this, but when you grow up, right, because in Europe, every country has two languages.
Yeah.
Two languages,
Right,
right?
yeah.
You signs up France, French, English, Irish, English, Germany, so on and so forth, right? German, English. So I assumed just by watching Sesame Street as a kid, right? A lot smaller there, right? Watching Sesame Street, that it was, Spanish and English. Legit, that's what I thought.
Sure.
So when I came over here, I'm like, all right, I don't know Spanish, but I know everyone knows English. And I remember working in the bank, and this woman came in and was like, you know, the banks have a sign in English, a sign in Spanish. Again, that's what I thought was normal. She's like ripping the sign down. And this is
really?
America. You shouldn't have.
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that
Right.
shocks you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You get
Yeah.
used to the shortness and the rudeness. You know, quick. Like if someone honks at you if you didn't go fast
Yeah.
enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
What
kind
did
of
I
indicative of New York, though. Like, I mean, it's not. I mean, but I like it. Like, I like New York because what people say on the road is exactly what everyone else in the country is thinking. You know, it's just we say it.
Right. I think everyone says it in the protection of their car. I think
Yeah.
a car is the only place left in the world where I said, and this is partly a joke, so don't. But I think it's the one place where you can understandably be racist because you don't know anything about that person.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I can't walk up and go, like, you owe me money, you piece of shit. Like I don't know this guy. Like yes, because you always, you know, you pick your nose too much. Like I don't know anything about him, so all I pull up to the window and go, yeah, of course. Right. It could be anyone
Right, yeah.
of any pick anything. He could be like any from any race,
And
any
you always have to
size.
drive up and say.
And I have the same thing, which has got me in like a bunch of arguments. Which I'm very calm now. This was years ago. This is, I'd say, about 5 years ago. I found peace in life, and I don't argue with people anymore. But what I would always pull up, and if it was a woman, I would always go, look, if you can't drive it, give it back to your husband. But you use the same line on a guy. If you can't drive it, give it back to your wife. And it's like, it's just for some reason,
Yeah.
like that would just, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy. And I just,
That's
you know what I
funny.
mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I have a thing that I do, and they know that
Yes.
if I've done something and cut somebody off and I didn't see them, and they now have tried to pull it, and they're fucking with me.
Yeah.
Is once we pull up to that, like I look over, and I start pretending to blow this huge dick.
Even though you did it wrong? Even though you were in the wrong?
Yeah.
All right.
And they're so angry, and the look of anger to confusion is the most beautiful thing. They're like, like, what the fuck is wrong with this
Yeah,
guy?
I if I'm in the wrong, I genuinely go, sorry
Yeah,
about that.
me too. I'm
But
always like, sorry.
now you have the option to, how is this going to affect you? I know
Right.
you're 100% right. I'm an asshole. I'm dumb. Whatever. I wasn't paying attention. I had my reflexes weren't. I should have. You know what? That's not my exit. I should have.
Right.
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 I
tried to one of
absolutely
them,
do that.
and I go one of these, and now you have the option of what you do with that. Do you go like, he's all right, he made a mistake,
Yeah.
or do you still let that affect you? And because it doesn't ruin my day. I said sorry.
Right.
I'm out of it now.
That's
Now this
it.
is all up to you. And I think that's the best way to handle
Yeah, me too.
road rage. You know, I think that's just the best. That's what works for me, at least.
Your kids are young, though, right?
15 and 12.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
the wait till you start doing driver's ed with them, because that's like.
Well, my
it
daughter
blows
wants
your
to
mind
ride a
little bit.
motorcycle because I ride a motorcycle. So she's like, I want to ride a motorcycle before a car. I'm like, no, you're getting a car license first. But I don't. Yes, but the reason
I had a moped when I was 15.
same thing, same principle.
Yeah.
Just
goes
not
like
as,
34 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it's not really about the speed. It's about how you handle it. And then if you can handle a bike at 30 miles an hour, then you can handle it at 40, and 40 turns to 50 or whatever it is. So, but I said to her, like, well, no, you get a car because you need to learn the understandings of the road, how people merge. And a bike is not the best way to learn that.
No.
Yeah.
Because then if someone messes up in the car or you mess up, then you know what? We just have insurance for that. That's it. They don't have insurance for your life. Although I should take it out, though. Just
Yeah.
Isn't that morbid? You can do that. You can take
Yeah.
a
You
life
could take a
insurance on
life insurance
kid.
on your
Yeah.
kid.
You know, that's a very morbid gambling.
Yeah.
It's a very morbid
Yeah.
casino game.
Don't short the market on that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I mean, is it a win-win or like it's?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you've gone back to Ireland to perform, right?
Yeah, I went back.
Do you like it? Do you like to do that or no?
No.
I would imagine
don't.
you wouldn't.
No, I don't. Tour in Ireland is fun, but when I get to my own hometown, bombed harder. To this day, I haven't bombed any harder.
Really?
Than what I did in my
In
own
your
hometown.
hometown?
You
Yeah.
think they all got together and like did a Tim Gage on you or something?
No, they're all miserable people. Like Irish people are miserable people. Wexford people are miserable people, and I love them because I am one of them. I grew up around them. Some of my best friends, my family are still over there, and they're just miserable. They don't want to see you do well because, and I have a theory, and I'm not saying it's right because I think because social media is such a fake world, right? And if you don't realize that, it can do damage to you, right? So people back in Ireland will see me, whoever, pick a celebrity. I don't take pictures of them, but someone will take a picture and post it, and I'm with whoever.
Yeah. Name
whoever it is, right? Famous comedians, famous actors after shows, whatever it is. Very rarely post it, and they think, well, look at the life he's living.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They're not watching me struggle to get off of Long Island in a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just see a picture of me with Chris O'Dowd or whoever the fuck it is. And so they think, oh, well, he must be doing great. And and again, it's only a theory. I think it's a reminder. What you're doing is that they never took their shot at their dreams. And your dream could be anything. I want to open up a barber shop. I want to be a doctor. You know what? I should have set up my own company. But now I'm still doing this factory job, which is great. Like they take the Irish workforce take care of yourselves. Like the laws are there to protect the people. So you get a nice job in Ireland in a factory. You're set up. You really are. There's no struggling if you're smart with your money. But I just think nobody wants to get up in the morning and go to the factory. I worked in a factory for years over there, and you're like this. You're working on an assembly line. You're laughing and you're joking, whatever. It's a great time. Sure. But that's not probably deep down. No little boy or girl
wishing to be a factory worker.
Yeah, right. God, I hope I get to make lenses for glasses.
It's no cowboy.
No,
it's astronaut.
No, it's not. And I just think when they see you doing it, all you are is a reminder that they didn't. That's all it is. And again, it's only a theory, but I think it's just a reminder that they never took their shot. So when you're on stage, like, fuck you, I'm not going to give it to you. But now the two openers, Tim Gage, Laurie Palmentari, they loved, loved them.
Wow,
couldn't have laughed harder. Wow. But as soon as I walked up, like, no, we're not having any of it. Like nothing.
Wow.
I was supposed to do, I think, an hour. I did maybe 35 minutes. I was like, what's the point?
Kidding.
I was like, what's the point? Wow. Well, it's not like you got to, keep up your contract obligation, but nobody wants to be there. It's like detention. The teacher doesn't want to be there and the kid doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And did they know in advance that it was one of their own coming in?
That's the only reason I sold tickets, because it was me. People I went to school with turned up to watch the show.
Sure. I'm baffled by that.
Listen, and then it's funny because I work with Dave Nihill from Ireland, Sean Finnerty, Katie Boyle. They're living here. They're Irish comedians, and they'll tell you the same thing. Like they'll go back.
Really?
Sean had a good experience back in his hometown, but the rest of them go, yeah, you go home, man. They don't. But I go to a different part of Ireland, different county. I go to Dublin, love it. Galway, love it. Head down to Cork, come back into Waterford, wherever I do a show in Ireland. Belfast, fucking great time. As soon as you get home, we're not having it.
Really?
We don't want it.
Funny.
They don't want to buy it.
I'm shocked by that.
Yeah.
There's people in the crowd thinking to themselves, I'm funnier than that.
Of course. I mean, it's hard to be funny in Ireland, man, because everyone's fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like my buddy Tommy, my two brothers, Bud and Wayne, like they're funniest people on the planet.
Wow.
They just don't have a desire to go up and construct a joke, dissect something, and tell a story that's not true, but let me exaggerate it so it's funnier.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have it, but they're the funniest people. So it's very hard to get up in front of these people who, if you work with them, like I said, on a factory assembly line, like I can't believe how funny this guy is.
Right.
I believe Jeff Bosey said earlier that his grandparents are from Cork. I believe. Right?
Everyone's grandparents are from Cork.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Here.
I'm telling you, they're not.
Same here.
They're not, though.
Yeah.
Because
really not.
They come from Ellis Island. They come into Ellis Island from the harbours, and they're from towns like Bannynaboola.
Oh, and they can't pronounce
and
them,
the guy's
so
like,
just
fuck
write down
it. You
Cork.
came in on the boat from Cork, C-O-R-K. That's 4 letters, 1 syllable. That's where you're from.
Everyone's from
And there's
Cork.
generations of Irish Americans go, well, my family are from Cork. I guarantee you they're not. They're
That's
really
so
not. Because
funny.
everyone comes up to me after a show. You think the country would tip over if all those people were in Cork at the same time that you're describing it. Like, there's not that
You're
many.
a liar, Jeff Bosey.
Yeah. I'm not. He's not. He may be misinformed, Jeff. You're not a liar.
You don't want to accidentally spell awfully the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. You know what I mean? There's nobody says, like, I never hear anybody say, oh, my grandfather was from Wexford, because you don't. Because it's the opposite side of the port. That port brought you to England.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It never came down around the Hull and back from Cork and then straight out to America. It didn't happen.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
But so because you mentioned before that you're touring with some Irish comedians, so like, do they bill it as like the Irish?
Yeah.
So it's good to cash in on the.
Yeah, Dave Nihill is a great. He's doing this thing on. He just blew up on social media, and he kind of just capitalized it. And he sells out these shows wherever he goes. And he could go in and just go, hey, it's just me. I can sell a room out with my own name because you know what? He's a very proud Irish comic. Very, very proud to be Irish. Proud to be, as we all are. And he talks a lot about being from Ireland. I don't talk about it that much because I've lived here for nearly 20 years and it's not just there anymore for me to talk about. But me, Dave, now it's just me, Dave, and Sean. It was me, Dave, Sean, Martin, Katie. Martin went back to Ireland. You know, Katie's on her own little thing, and it's but the three of us now, we're heading out to Ohio this week. Then we're in Minnesota the next week, and then in September we're down in Pittsburgh. And
nice,
yeah. But Dave put it together. I think it's the Irish comedy tour.
Why not? Right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
what the gig.
It's what it is. But the funny thing is, like, there's no Irish people at the shows. They're all Irish Americans. Like, again, Irish people won't come out and support.
Right.
Really?
Right.
They just won't support.
Because we've talked about it in here, the Italians.
I love and hate Italian comics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's comics who are Italian, and then there's an Italian comic. An Italian comic is, we've heard it all.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
your brejol. Yeah. All right.
The wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, did she beat you with the wooden spoon? Oh, it's not sauce, right? It's gravy. Oh, that one. Oh, we never had this when we, like, okay, get it.
This is Italian.
I'll never shit on anybody's art form. That's what you
Right.
want to do. I don't sit there, right? And the Italians in the audience are slapping their knees, loving it.
They're so loyal. It's crazy.
Yeah, look, a Sebastian Maniscalco would not happen without the loyalty.
Right.
Vic DiPotato would not happen without the loyalty, right? And that's with the Impressionists. It's always like, hey, here's James Gandolfini. All right, well, he's been dead 15 years, but go on. That's relevant, but okay. And they do impressions of Sebastian and whatever. But Italians, bless them, man, will come out in drones to support their own. Irish, they're like,
It's Italian Americans though, not
it's
people
Italian
from-
Americans. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same with Irish Americans. It's not the actual Italians that come out to like watch that stuff.
I don't know if there's any Italians living here. I've
Yeah.
never met an Italian here. I actually there's one guy, rest his soul, when I used to work for Bank of America. I'm still friends with his family to this day. I had lunch with one of them 2 weeks ago, my friend Eric Forgione. But his uncle Mike was off the boat Italian. He had this machine shop in Farmingdale.
Oh, wow.
And he was all Italian, and he was just the loveliest man. But yeah, Italian Americans will show up in drones to support
It's crazy to me.
their shows. It's it's insane. But it's like it's the same act. Italian Americans is the same act. That's what it is. But Irish, we don't have it. We don't have the support. It won't come out. I don't know what it is. Miserable fucks. Miserable fucks.
But it must. So who is coming out then? If these these Irish tours, if they're working for you, so who's
Fans of comedy.
just fans of comedy?
Yeah, that's what it is. And if you go on social media and you follow, like, I've had one joke on there now, which is it's over 10 million between all the platforms I'm on. 10 million views.
Nice.
So people who see that joke, like I was on stage the other night, not here, not one of these clubs, and I was killing from start to finish through the whole. I was only doing like a half an hour set. So halfway through the set, I did that joke that's after blowing up, and the audience was kind of like, just like that. That was the only response. The only joke that got that response. And after I told a joke, I said, you may have, because it just blew up last weekend, by the way. It's not like it's always been there. Just last weekend, it blew up. And I went, you may have seen that joke online because so far it's gotten over 10 million views. And the whole audience almost went, that is him.
Oh, right.
Oh,
right.
wow.
They thought I was stealing my own joke.
Right.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Right,
So I
right.
guess with social media, people are on there and they're seeing that, and they go like, "Oh, that guy's in town. Let's go see him."
Yeah.
You know, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's see what the night is.
Which is kind of, we talk about it all the time. It's so, a lot of comedians our age find it so hard with social media to get something to go viral, traction. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the problem there's a solution to it, and I work with my friend Dave. Sat me down and he showed me what he's doing on his social media, and because he got over 300,000 followers based on what he did with just social media alone.
Wow.
He sat down with me. He goes, "Look, you got to do this." So I started following the formula, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So that was I've been doing it nearly 2 months now. The formula that he showed me, like just to do this, do that, and I'm up in the 20s now of thousands of followers.
Nice.
And I'm like, wow, it works. So I think for any comic out there, like especially the older guys, as they say, you look at you have to stay relevant. You just have to stay relevant. You can't rely on your fans coming out anymore. You got to bring in new. You got to stop. You know, I can't tell you about what to do. That sounds bad. You got to stop it. But you got to
guideline.
You got to keep going. You got to stick with it.
Well, but it's strange to me because, like you just said, because then a joke goes viral, everybody sees it, and then the second you tell it on stage, they might not laugh as much, or they're thinking that you stole it from somebody else. Like, so it's almost weird. If you tell a joke that you post on TikTok, let's say, it's almost like now that joke you can't use it anymore, kind of.
Yeah, but to be funny on TikTok, like I told the same joke on TikTok, and I had a group of people because I put it up, and I hit 4.5 million, and someone complained and I got taken down, right? So then I put it up again from the stage perspective, not me holding up a phone. And it was doing whatever. I think it's close to 1 million. But there's so many people say, oh, you stole that. Yeah, because now people are creating. I did an episode on my podcast about it. I go, now people are creating memes about it because these meme pages are awful. They're funny, but they're not the funniest people on the world. They're stealing comedian jokes and putting them in the forms of memes, which is fine. Look, that's what you want to do, but give me the credit for it.
Yeah.
So my exact words were, and I have it, I go, I had the conversation with 10 people. I go, hey, man, I'm not negative. I'm not arguing with them. I'm not combative. I'm like, no, I didn't steal it. I go, listen, I wrote this joke back in blah, blah, blah. I can show it to you. I said, if you can show me anyone that's done that joke earlier than that date, I will Venmo you $100. I said, because I need to know.
Right.
Yeah, sure. There is stealing, but there's also parallel thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you do a joke, like whatever happens in the end, like I've heard 2 variations of the same joke. Nothing malicious.
Like if it's a COVID joke or something. Like
COVID joke,
like,
especially
you know,
that girl who's been held hostage in Russia now. I've heard 2 variations of the same joke, but it's not that it's an easy joke, but it's what comes to mind, right?
Sure.
So it happens. So I was like, hey man, but please, I need to know that. If someone did do it before me, then I don't want one of these guys that's capitalizing on someone. But I need to know. Not one of them was able to find it and get back to me. And it's not like proved you wrong, but that's what happens. You know what I mean? That's what happens. But going back to what you're saying about, social media, like for the older guys, if you say, I mean, old is really, it's a number, right? But I just think you need to find out what's the new thing and stay on top of it. You don't have to you don't have to live on there. Like TikTok is a god awful place.
Yeah.
It's a god awful place. But it doesn't mean you don't have to post something, just piss off and leave it. That's it.
Yeah.
You're done.
Right.
That's it. You don't need to hang on and scroll up and see what's going on here. You don't need to do that. Just stay relevant, stay what's going on, and write material. That's all you got to do. It's not hard. People blame everybody else for them not doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right. Well, speaking of, I mean, like you said, I mean, age is just a number, but
yeah.
But I'm curious though, because one of the younger comedians, and I'm baffled. What is it about Austin Brooks that you find so interesting?
The story about Austin Brooks was I box a Strong Island boxing out in Shirley. Shout out to Strong Island, Christian and all the gang out there. And Christian said to me, he was like, listen, we got this guy out here, he's funny, he would always try to stand-up. Can he call you and ask you some questions? I go, yeah, have him call me and ask some questions.
Wait. Austin kickboxes also?
No. He used to maybe turn up for a class or two. Trust me, if there's anyone out there...
I was going to say, no way.
Yeah. Austin, I fucking love Austin, but he's the biggest bullshit artist. Like, he'll turn up at a gym, take a picture, and go, oh, I'm killing it, and then leave. Like, I took him on the road with me once.
Right, yeah.
And we're at a gym, and I was fucking banging out, I'm sweating, and he walked on the treadmill as slow as the treadmill could go. I mean, the treadmill, it was like a contest. How slow can I get? And he walked on it, took a picture, probably sent it to a girl or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'm at the gym, work, splashing water in his face. I'm out here getting after it, right? So he's all about that. So he may have turned up for boxing once or twice. But my friend Christian, who runs the gym, said, look, this guy is funny. Right, he's funny, and I go, all right, man, anything for you. Like, I'll talk to him, have him call me. He called me up. He was respectful. He asked all these questions. Yeah. Very respectful, and I love that about him.
Yep.
And but in the class is Austin's brother goes there, right? Cory Brooks.
Yep.
And Cory's after turning into one of my best friends. Right, he helps me so much with social media. He comes on the road with me too, just to hang out. And I do another podcast with him, the Manxiety Show, and so they're brothers. Right, so you kind of have to look after.
In here the one time.
Yeah.
Cory came in here.
Cory's a gentleman. He's phenomenal. Very, very funny guy too. I'm trying to get him to do stand up, but he won't do it. But I'll get him. So, but Austin off stage, I mean, on stage he's funny, but he's new, right? So I'm not saying he's not funny on stage, he's new.
Yeah.
But off stage, man, there's something that's really like he if he can be himself, tone it down a little, you know what I mean? I think he's just, when I see someone that's naturally funny, I kind of gravitate to him, you know. I gravitate to him. I just like funny people.
Yeah.
I have a great Austin story from a couple of weeks ago. We were did a show at Farrell's Tavern in Ronkonkoma. And afterwards, one of the guys also did magic. And so he starts doing this magic, and it freaked Austin out. I could show you the messages. He's on Instagram. How do you do it? How do you do it? I don't like that. I don't like being fooled. Even into the next day, he was still like, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let it go.
Yeah, that's funny. I just think any young comic, and young is, I base young based on how long you're doing stand up. Doesn't matter. You could be 52, want to start. You're a young comic to me.
Right.
And I think, you know, if you're funny and you put the work in, and it was always done for me. Someone always helped me. Always helped me. I never just started, and I worked hard on it too, but I wouldn't have progressed if it wasn't for someone like a Keith Anthony, Joey Cola, Joe Starr, Adam Ferrara, you know, people that reached out and helped me, and hey man, turn up, can't you come on the road with me, do this a little bit, like, you know, even though I wasn't going to get up on stage, you get to go with them just to see how the road works. Is this something you want to do? And I believe it's my duty as an older comic now, which is, you know, it's where it's to kind of to reach back down and help other people, help comic, you know, and
that's great.
You know, I don't try. I would never interfere with their material. I never go, hey man, try say this instead of that. It's because it's your art at the end of the day, right? And if I say something that might throw you off in a different direction,
right?
But like, say, hey, listen, like last night I went to McGuire's. The contest was there, and the kid was like, I gotta follow you. Like, I go, look, don't ever worry about that. It's just your audience. It's the same audience. I don't get up and leave, and they don't come with me. I'm not the Pied Piper. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And
people do worry about that. I've never understood that.
Even some of the headliners today worry about that.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen some of the, like, I've had
there really
to follow,
is no reason for it.
I followed Chris Rock.
Really?
Yeah, I followed Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan, Dane Cook. I've had to follow all these guys that were, you know, were pop-ins at a comedy club, and they're like, where do we go from here? Right? So you just learn that it doesn't matter. You still have something to say.
It doesn't matter.
And that's it. If the MC is smart, he'll go up and he'll talk to him for a minute, because what's going to happen is, now let's say Chris Rock walked in, people are still like, did you see Chris Rock? He just walked in there, and I'm up on stage like an idiot. Like, and he came in and he said, oh my God, I gotta text this. So the MC should go up and go, hey, let me do 2 minutes, settle them back down again, let them get it out of their system,
right,
and then bring you up. And it's a different audience, you know, it's a different audience. But so this kid last night, and the only advice I gave him when he got off stage was like, hey man, listen, when you take the mic out of the mic, just put the mic stand over here. Because even though you're tall and whatever, that tiny little stand is in your way. It's still there's a block between you and the audience. And I'm not going to say, don't say that joke. That's terrible. Try this instead of that. That's, you know, but I believe the older generation should be legit helping the younger generation.
What did Joey, how did he help you out?
Joey Cola, one of the biggest thing I had was, like, I was in Belmore, and everyone knew who Joey Cola was.
Yeah,
and it was at the brokerage, funny enough, come full circle back to that place. And he came in a fur coat, which I think was his wife's fur coat, because he stormed out of the house. He was having a fight with his wife and his daughter. And he walked up on stage and he goes, I got to get something off my chest. And he shook the roof off that building. And I'm there like, how? What? And I'm going to go up. And at this time, I'm telling you, I was brand new. And I was like, in Ireland, we say this and you say that.
Right.
People don't want to hear that shit. And I was like, yeah. And so the MC went up and he did time in between, you know what I mean, just to settle it down like a good MC should. And I go, fuck, how am I supposed to follow that? Yeah. And Mr. Cole, he was like, listen, man, he went up, gave me just nice advice, whatever. And after that, then he's always pulled you aside. He called me the next day.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
called me the
great
next
about
day. Hey,
that.
man, just keep doing what you're doing, and you know that kind of stuff. The positivity. Don't be, if you get nervous, you know, something like there's so many little, like if you get nervous, if you feel you're not doing well, which I didn't really bomb for my first 3 years in comedy, because I had this safety set of just foreigner that you couldn't argue with.
Yeah.
Because there was no, like, that's not funny because, you know, Trump said this or whatever. You know, there was no opinion. It was like, hey, I'm from Ireland. You don't know anything about this country.
Right.
Here's the difference. And it was a safety set. And then when I started stepping out of that, it was, then it was like, all right, you're bombing. because you're taking risks, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like when you bomb, you shrink if you're not used to it, right? So Joey's like, listen, man, if you start a bomb, just don't step back into the stage. Come forward, like show them your body language that you're okay with that. And
Right.
you know, you look to the ground. Every comic looks to the ground when they're thinking, and he goes, why are you looking to the ground so much? It's like, I'm thinking of my next joke. Well, look out to them. They don't give a shit. So just little things that make you look more professional, and when you look more professional, you feel more confident, and with that confidence comes more bolder jokes, more honest jokes, and that kind of stuff. So
And the
those are
people
things-
relax too, because like
Yeah.
one thing, you know, because I always just speak from the audience member, you know, and when you're nervous up there, like I worry. And
Yeah.
but if you're confident, even if you shouldn't be, then I could just enjoy myself.
Right. Because
Yeah.
you don't want to be,
It's
because
hard to
that's your
explain.
maternal instinct. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
I'm like,
the
oh no,
poor guy
he's
is
really
not
worried.
having a good time.
And then I can't relax.
I love bombing. I truly love now. If I turn up at the weekend somewhere at a club, I'm going to do the hits, right? Like I'm going to do all the stuff I know works,
Right.
and if
Yeah.
it doesn't, then I don't know what happened. I don't know why it didn't work, but it didn't. But if I doing a weeknight show, I'm in the city somewhere, and I'm doing a brand new joke, and it bombs, like all right, let me go back and I record it and I go home and I listen to it the next morning. And I'm like, all right, well, where did it go wrong? Maybe if I moved that part of the story to here. That's way too much shit. I don't need to tell him I was wearing a blue shirt that day.
Yeah.
Right? And then I go back, the next night, redo that joke with the notes I've taken. Now the laughs are a little bit stronger on it. Like, all right, good. So me bombing means I've worked through. And to me, it's like I love figuring out
it's
the
fun.
puzzle
It is
of
a
getting
puzzle.
it to kill. So the bombing, people are afraid of bombing, and that's all ego. That's all arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Bombing is your best friend. If you're not bombing, then you're not learning. You're not growing.
Well, that's
Yeah, that's
interesting.
great.
Wow.
You know?
That's great. Wow.
It's not like a good bomb. Trust me, if you get paid a few $1,000s to do a corporate gig, and then you shit the bed, you're like, oh my God.
Right, of course, different story.
Yeah, I explain this to my manager now, but my manager's cool. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he knows what I can do, and he's like, it was probably something they did. Because he knows I'm not going to go up and, hey, we don't want you to curse. You won't get a curse out of me.
Right.
Promise.
Yeah.
Don't you not talk about this? Don't mention anything political. You won't get one political word out of me. I'm a professional. But like, but if you get paid a big paycheck, you're like, now you feel like an imposter. Like, I didn't earn this money. Like, they didn't laugh once. Like, they gave me a bunch of zeros, and all I did was take up 25 minutes of their afternoon. That's all I did.
But you don't know that. You don't know whether that, like, because when you come to a comedy club, you're used to just like laughing out loud. Like at a corporate setting, they're just not even used. Like we went to you ever go to the concerts on the lawn during the summer?
No.
You never did that? Oh,
No.
it's totally fun. You bring like like your beach
cooler,
chairs and your coolers, and you sit up there, and they have the stage, and it's usually like a tribute band. Like, who'd we see?
Right.
What
We just
tribute
saw a
band?
Springsteen tribute band last
tribute
year.
band. But if you look out in the audience, because I like to people watch, like they're just sitting there enjoying their day.
Right.
No one is at the front of the stage clapping, making them feel good. And the band members, like one time we went to a concert, and the band members took it so hard that no one was clapping all the time, that they started yelling at the audience. And the funniest thing is that the audience had the greatest time of their month, but
Right.
it just doesn't look like it.
Right.
But that's his fault too. Do you think they all collectively got together and said, guys, like, nobody clap for these guys? All right, and 1, 2, 3, hands in your pockets. Like, that's his ego.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Or he probably came from a wedding.
Yeah.
Berkwitz's wedding the night before, and they were all great, and they were clapping, and Nana was
Right.
up dancing, and
Yep.
and then
The
they
chicken
tried out
dance.
to Patchogue live at 5, and all of a sudden they're like, "Well, why aren't they clapping here? There's not like
Yeah.
the Berkowitz wedding."
Need another Berkowitz.
Yeah, you mentioned working with Tracy Morgan and Chris Rock and whatnot.
Yeah.
I did notice there was a weird list of people that you've worked with, like Norm Macdonald,
Yes.
and John Panette, and Greg Giraldo, Louis Anderson, Jerry
killing-
Stiller.
I'm killing
Like,
these
yeah, I'm a
guys.
little worried that I might die today after having you in here. So
No, I think they're only famous people. You're all right. It's a curse of the famous people.
as soon as I saw this list, I was like, "What the?"
Yeah, I'm killing them all off. I'm killing them all off.
Thanks a lot, Mick.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what happens over the years. I guess people have their demons, their health problems, and
Well, people
you know,
die.
They
It
die. That's what
happens.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, one thing I did see, which I wanted to ask you about, I forget where I read this, but it said you did something with Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, I was.
He's one of my favorites, so I was just curious what you did with him.
I did a movie that I hate mentioning
Oh, sorry.
No.
talk about it.
You
You don't
don't have
want
to say it.
Because people, no, I will say it. It's not a porn.
You'd be proud of that.
Yeah, we'll be all right. I like that.
We would have
the
already
same.
known about it. I
Right?
imagine.
Yeah.
Golden showers.
I'm just with a girl like I'm gonna treat you like a sink. What?
Sink porn with Mick Thomas.
Stepbrother and
Sink
stepsis.
Yeah,
porn.
no,
play
it
with
was
the
a-
sink.
Yeah, right.
It was a movie called "Excuse Me for Living," and I played a bailiff in it, right? And I had and I'm horrible with names too, but Christopher Lloyd was in it, Jerry Stiller was in it.
Oh, nice.
I went on to watch one of my favorite shows. It's on HBO Max right now, but it's cancelled. It's just done now. Called Banshee. Phenomenal show. The guy who plays Homelander from The Boys, he's the star of it.
Okay.
Phenomenal show. It's about this guy who gets out of jail, goes upstate to this town called Banshee in Pennsylvania, and the sheriff gets killed in a bar fight. The new sheriff, because no one in the town knows who he is. So he's like an ex-con, so he buries the sheriff. I'm the fucking sheriff now. And it's just like, he's the sheriff that solves the problems, but like kind of from the streets point of view. Like, you know what I mean? A guy beats his wife up, so he just shows up and kicks the fuck out of the guy. Like, sheriff, you can't do it. Yes, I can. But the star of the movie came in season 3 of that. I can't remember his name. A young kid, nice guy. But yeah, I did it. It was just the worst scene ever. Almost worse than, what was that one that we did with Joey Cola?
I don't know what you're
Gender
talking
bender?
about.
Yeah, that's the worst
Yeah.
thing ever made.
Well,
ever
Have you ever
made.
seen The Streets? With
It
the
does-
dollar sign instead of an S and a Z?
It doesn't matter though. I guarantee it's not as bad as
I've
this.
seen both.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. It's like whoever invested in that was, you know what I mean? Like, that was all right. Whoever sold you on that one, man, you are not good with money. I do not want to take financial advice from you at all.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It was the biggest load of garbage ever. And
Well, even Joey Cole, like when he first met me, he's like, please don't watch that movie.
Yeah.
Well, Joey's a gentleman, so he probably it's a very
Yeah.
rude movie. So Joey's probably like out of
Yeah.
being like an old school gentleman.
Yeah.
Like, listen, it's not for a lady.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
watch it. I'm the opposite. I'm like, listen, it's just dog shit. Like, you'll never. Do you understand how precious life is? And you'll never get that hour and a half back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing entertaining about it at all. You'll never get that hour and a half back. You'll be sitting like, that was it. I could have done anything. I could have folded the laundry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could have done anything. But that movie is the greatest crock of shit ever. And I played a part in it. And I just, when I came to the premiere of it, and I remember at the end of it, the red carpet, and I got up and I walked out. The red carpet, I was there, and the director was, not the director, but someone who was, I don't know for what magazine, probably Dog Shit magazine. And she was interviewing, and she was like, so what did you think of the movie? He's like, I hated it. And she started laughing, like, oh, comedian Mick Thomas. She goes, what was your favorite part of shooting? I was like, when the director said cut and I could go home. And so at the end of the movie, when it ended, I got up and I walked out, and because they have the speakers outside, and they're like, all right, let's get everybody up on stage. Where's Mick Tom? And my car was starting. And I was just like, I never want to see this ever hit the light of day, ever again. And I don't think my name is on there. Like, if you go to IMBD, you won't see my name on there.
I looked. It's not. That movie wasn't listed. It's
not there.
It's not there.
It shouldn't be.
There was a comedy special listed, and then some other comedy thing that you were hosting or something. I forget what it was now.
I never
There's
go
only
to
two comedy
IMBD
events,
because I don't. I'm a nobody. I'm on IMBD.
Well, Joey Cole is filming another movie right now, and he's redeeming himself.
Right.
So
Yeah, Joey's a naturally funny guy, man.
Oh,
He really is.
absolutely.
He's
Love
one of
Joey.
the best. He's one of the funniest guys. He's one of the kindest guys. He deserves all the success in the world for his hard work and his kindness. And I trust his judgment on this one. I think they just sold him on this other piece of shit. You know what I mean? And I think he was too polite to say no. Yeah. Oh, we got
Well,
Gilbert Godfrey. Yeah, well, Gilbert Godfrey's dead too.
Well, there you
All
go.
right.
There you go. You're involved in this movie.
He doesn't have to look at that. He doesn't have to look at that at all.
If you're going to take a positive out of that movie, it's Joey's performance.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. But it's still not worth watching, though. No matter, I don't give a shit if he got an Oscar for it. It's still like,
It's a lot.
yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
What other acting have you done?
I did that movie. I did Excuse Me for Living, and I did a bunch of plays back in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I haven't done anything since. I haven't.
Do you sing and stuff? It was just like.
No, it was just plays.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's not part of the goal for you then, is the
It's really not. Like
It's
I
really-
just love.
okay.
I mean, if someone wants me to do it, and we talk about it, and it's you know,
Sure.
I had a great acting coach, Joanna Beckson. She's retired now, but you know, I've done it all, and I enjoyed the class, and I enjoyed the process of it, and I've been approached for stuff, and I just didn't. Nah, I'm all right.
Oh, that's
I'm
interesting.
okay.
Okay.
I just love stand up too much to want to go another direction and start putting time into this
Yeah.
other. I don't feel I'm at a place in stand up where I could just walk away and then come back in a year's time. Like someone like I saw Chris Rock talk the other night. He was saying that he takes 2 years off when he does a special.
Right.
Now I'm sure he pops up at a club here and there, but he's
Right.
like, I got to go live my life. And then, you know, let life happen so I can come back and start talking about it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Right,
it
but if I
does.
took 2 years off, like I don't have the popularity to walk into any comedy club. Hey, do you mind if I go up and do 5?
Right.
You know, it's where you can slowly get back into it. So I just want to focus on stand up.
That's interesting because you know I think that's the case with most comedians, right? They're going for the sitcom deal, right?
Yeah, that's dead though. If they believe that's their goal, then they're definitely barking up a tree that was ended in the 90s. If that's what they're looking for, they're making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Because they don't exist anymore. Those deals don't exist
Right.
by any means. I've sat in the meetings. I've sat in the big glass, you know, where they treat you like I've done it all, and and they close the door. No, we're just not what we're. Yeah, or how about this? And it's not out there. What they're looking for and what they think is now Ray Romano, Kevin James.
I was about to say
They're
Kevin
not-
James can only throw so many comedians on his show.
But they're not there anymore. Those shows don't exist. Those deals don't exist. Though, you know what I mean? Like those. And if they are out there chasing that, then they're definitely wasting their time
Wow.
on that goal. You know, I just think it's because those contracts aren't there anymore because everything is now, there's so many different streaming platforms, and
Right.
it's
Right.
just,
Yep.
you know, and sadly you can like I'm in the works right now. I wrote a nice show. I'm not talking about it that much, but it's probably going to get sold. But they're like, you know what? We don't want you in it though. I'm like, that's fine.
Sure.
I'll be an EP. Give me, as long as that check doesn't bounce, it's fine.
right, yeah.
Because I'm not a name on it, I can't sell Domino's pizzas on it.
Right.
McThomas isn't going to sell a Domino's pizza to anybody, right? He's not going to do it. He's not going to make you sign up for Verizon every week. You tune into the show. He's not going to do it.
I might if I saw you in the
You
commercial. I
wouldn't.
might.
You wouldn't. You're not yet anyway, right? Yeah. So they're like, you know, we'll it's all still up in the air, but like, you know, we'll take this, but we just don't want you to come with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fine.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so for all these guys chasing that dream that you're talking about, they're all like me. They're all, to the industry, nobodies. They're great human beings. They're great comics, but to the industry, they're nobody. And you're not going to star in a sitcom overnight. They don't take chances anymore.
Right.
They don't take chances anymore on nobodies. They just very rarely it might happen somewhere in some weird universe.
Right.
I've heard of it, but it doesn't happen every day. We used to go to Montreal, the comedy festival up there.
Right.
Oh, that guy would be like Tim Allen. It happens to him. Tim
Right.
Allen walked off stage. Happened to Ray Romano, walked off Letterman, straight into the office, straight into a nice deal. Kevin James got it all. Like all these guys, and they're nobodies, and they built whole shows around nobodies. Seinfeld.
Yeah.
They don't do that now.
Yeah, you're
kidding?
right.
You know what I mean? They couldn't. They
Yeah.
couldn't give a show for the longest time to Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz got millions of followers, and they wouldn't touch him. They wouldn't give him anything. So he had to go and get it by himself.
Right.
So sadly,
But did Stiller or Christopher Lloyd, did they have any advice for you? Were they easy to work with?
no, I didn't. I
didn't-
didn't ask him.
you didn't
I
talk
don't
to them in that
to
sense?
No,
No.
and I don't bother people. I don't. These things, when I see comics do it all the time, man, and they take pictures with other famous comics and stuff, dude, just stop. Like, what do you want that for? So you can put on your fucking Facebook and your Instagram.
Well,
and
no, I'm not
So
saying
when
that.
they die, you can.
That's
post
what it's
it.
for. That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's
Yeah.
what. Oh, he was so.
I knew him.
We were great and friends. No, you weren't. You stopped him on the way to the toilet to take a pic. You bothered him. You took a picture and he
Bothered
died.
him.
And now when he died, you made it about you. You selfish fuck.
Yeah.
That's what you did. That's what you did. I saw when Gilbert died. Every comic on Long Island, because
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried's been fucking here more than the fucking delivery guy, right? And of course you're gonna get a picture with him by chance. Right.
Yeah.
And as soon as he dies, like, oh, I remember when Guildford said, gave me the greatest piece of advice. He just said, hey, can you pass me that napkin? And they
Is
put
this the
on
bathroom?
thing. And then the people went to high school with him who don't understand the industry of comedy, like, oh man, I'm
So
sorry for
sorry,
your loss.
right, yeah.
Go fuck yourselves. You fucking you self-righteous pieces of shit.
But But you may have just been, like in between shots with Christopher Lloyd standing next to you. Maybe you got to talking. I didn't mean to like sort him out.
It's always something about like, is there no sesame seed bagels? Like, I don't know, man. I don't.
Yeah.
Big fan of
I'm not in
Sesame
charge
Street.
of that. And he was like, "What's that one over there?" I was like, "Pumpernickel." He's like, "Fuck me," and that's it. It's never like, so when you're in a DeLorean, like
How many chicken balls?
you're just people. I have to worry about that. I want to get paid. I don't want to get fired. I just went through this whole training before about how to hold a gun on set because the woman comes in, shuts the whole set down to give advice.
Yeah.
If anybody but this person and Mick Thomas, because I was the only one with a gun, so it was only the trainer and me. If anyone, like, there was another guy, the guy from, I'm horrible at names, he's a comic. He was in 30 Rock. He played .com, the big black guy, huge black guy. One of Tracy Morgan's entourage in it.
Yeah.
So he played a cop in it, but he didn't reach for his gun in the scene, so he didn't need that. He didn't need that speech. So she was like, the director was like, anyone but Mick Thomas and whichever this lady's name was, she was a weapons expert. If anyone else touches this gun, you are immediately off the set. If you hold the gun wrong. So I'm sitting there like, and Chris was like, I'm going to talk to him now. I'm too busy. Like, I don't want to, do something wrong with my fake gun and, go home with it. So I said, people are people, man. And they take pictures with celebrities and they want to take it to make your life seem cooler than it is. They're all people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They still take a shit at the end of the day, and it doesn't.
in the sink.
They may even be in the sink. Yeah.
That's it. Like I have 2 pictures with comics. Apart from my friends, like I'll get all my friends together. We'll do it. But someone said, "Hey man, do you want to get a picture of?" And it was me and Geraldo, and I was like, "All right," and me and Norm Macdonald. But I never once said, "Hey, let's take a picture." And that was it, because I don't want this. I don't need it. I don't need a picture to remember I was there. Like, same as when someone goes to like their kid's recital, and they're like this.
Yeah, the whole
and it's
time.
like, just remember it. Like, I'll remember it.
Yeah.
I might remember the dumb moves or how he fucking hot cross buns is the same as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Three Blind Mice. They're all the same songs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's shit. But I remember the feeling. I remember of them walking onto the stage with their instrument. I don't even remember the shit song, the shit performance.
Yeah.
I remember the feeling of watching them going there, bringing, hey, we want to go to Carvel after. Let's go get some ice cream. Yeah, come on, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, that's the shit I remember. Like, I don't need to have it on video forever to embarrass him. It doesn't, like, I have enough pictures of him. It doesn't,
I like. That's what I like about social media. It's almost like your own Facebook page is like your own wall growing up as a kid. You can hang your posters and have your records and your books.
Yeah.
And this is like kind of a way of having all that. And I like, because it's, you're a perfect example. Your family in Ireland, so if you take video of your dance recital, you can put it on Facebook and your whole family can see
Yeah,
it.
but he just said his whole family and friends hate him.
They're not watching it.
They don't want to see it.
Well, yeah, but
They're just mad
not
when they see
watching
another
it.
picture of Mick.
And then when it comes up as a memory, though, like to me, that's a nice surprise, and I will watch it. It's like, oh, that's my
That's
son
true.
from
And the
10
memories,
years ago.
I do like
I'll
the
give you that. Yeah,
memories.
the memories come up like, and I go, oh, look at that. I forgot about that. Look how small he was. Look at,
Yeah.
that
Right,
exactly.
stuff.
I love that
You get that. But I mean, I'm talking about from the perspective of up and coming comics trying to make themselves look bigger.
Right.
Because you're trying to let us think that you hang out with Seinfeld because you bothered him to get a picture. Like, oh, you hang out with Seinfeld. Or guess what? You met him. So what?
You bothered him.
So what? Like, you met somebody.
That's like autographs. I never understood autographs.
Yeah, it's a piece of paper with a name on it. Why the fuck do you want that? What do you want?
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's just that's all it is. Like,
And then
best
people are
wishes.
like, oh, this is worth something. I'm like, really?
To who?
Yeah, exactly. To
Like, who would buy it when they didn't actually have that interaction with the person? Like,
I don't get it,
doesn't
man.
make-
So Solar Witchy says it's still fun to talk to people you admire.
Yeah, I guess.
Talk to them, sure, but then,
Yeah, right,
then to
exactly.
be like, oh, selfie.
Exactly.
Could you take this picture? for me?
100%. But what are you talking about? First of all, you know what I mean. Like, if you're picking the brand, man, that's great. That absolutely. Like, if you get a chance to talk to a musician, like I remember. I hung out one night, not hang out. I was on a show with his son, and we were at the same table at a banquet hall. It was Dee Snider, right, from Twisted
sure.
Sister.
Yeah.
And I used to love
Everybody
them.
on Long Island
Right?
has a
Yeah,
Dee Snider story.
And I'm like, just sitting there like, hey man, what was it like for blah blah? Yeah. Did you ever work with such a person? Yeah. What's that guy? And that's a conversation. That's fine. But I didn't go, hey man, get a picture. Or I wasn't under the table like, guess who I'm sitting next to?
Yeah.
Like, get a picture
Yeah,
of his dick.
exactly.
Who'd you say his brother? Is that
His son tried. His son
His
tried stand up for a minute,
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everyone
Oh,
does.
did he? Oh, I
like
didn't know.
everyone does. He's a nice kid, but everyone tries stand up at some stage and then calls himself a comic.
That's
You
like
know
the
what I
Long
mean?
Island Medium's daughter. Is she still doing it? She was
I
doing
don't
stand-up
know.
for a while.
I don't know.
if
I
she's
haven't
still
seen
out
her
there.
on
I don't know.
any shows.
Once these people realize it's hard work, and it's like they go, all right, forget it.
And the
It is
times
hard
you want to
work.
be home, you're out.
And you get
know?
jerked around sometimes, like what we were talking about yesterday, where you not being
Yeah.
on a show.
Mhm. Oh yeah, it's a hard life. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like when people like, oh wow, you like cooking? Like they'll say to my older son, they're like, you should be a chef. I'm like, holidays, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday. Like it's the worst job. Every time you want to be somewhere else, you have to be cooking.
Yeah,
So
I
it's the
still
same
don't know.
thing.
I still don't know if we're doing the show at McGuire's tonight. I have no idea. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, man. It's,
I'll just wait for the phone call. That's all. You're obsessing.
I just want to know what I'm doing tonight. That's obsessing. Fuck! It's the day of the show. Am I performing or not? Holy crap! And you must have coming up through the ranks. You must have been through, right? I'm sure you have a lot of earning your stripes type stories too, right?
Yeah, you got. I followed advice from. And this is the thing about advice too. Like I followed a lot of advice from the older guys too. Again, Joey Cola, Joe Starr. And a lot of things they say, spot on, 100%. That's great. It helped me. But a lot of stuff they realized is not true anymore. It's not for me.
Like what?
Like for the longest time, I would take any gig for the sake, because you got to get up on stage. You get better when you get on stage. For me, and this is only for me, whatever we're going to talk about for the next few minutes is my experience. So it's not me saying you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you're not talking about the industry. You're
this is
just
for me.
talking about you.
This is anecdotal. Yeah.
It's if I would look at July and all of a sudden I saw one Friday and Saturday open, I'm like, shit. It's a reflection on me as a comic. I'm not busy. I'm not getting booked. Maybe I'm not good. I better fill that gig. What am I going to fill it with? All right, hey, you know what? The Comedy Cove, I didn't mean to name it, but fuck it. Comedy Cove, I don't work there anymore. The Comedy Cove in Springfield, New Jersey want me to go. I go, all right, let's go. How much is it? Well, I'll give you $100 for a show. And I go, all right, so I'll get in my car, I'll leave Long Island, and I will sit. There's a joke I do. I don't know if you've heard about the GW Bridge. I do about it. It happened on the way to that club where I got stuck on the bridge for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just to get there.
Right.
So the next day, to avoid it, I went at 12 o'clock in the afternoon just to avoid the bridge again. Hung out at the mall. That's a day. Like I don't want to be at the mall, but I'm there to kill time.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I look at that calendar and it's open and go, you know what? We're watching a movie tonight. We're going out to the beach. We're going to go to Port Jeff. We're going to get some ice cream. I want to play video games with my son. And
the advice from like Joe Starr, Joey Cullen was that you
Get up on
you
stage every night.
You should be booked all the time.
Take the gigs. Take the gigs because you get stronger. For me, again, you don't get stronger when you do those gigs. For me, it's like, you know what? If I'm on stage 6 nights a week, let's say, 6 nights a week, running this material, I'm too close to the material. I've done it to death. But now I notice that I take 3 nights, 4 nights a week is perfect for me to be on stage. Just 3 is ideal. I'll do 4. And it's like, you know what? If I was on stage last night, I'm not anywhere tonight. Now I could swing by McGuire's and jump up and do 5 easily.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm working on these 4 new bits that are killing right now. I'm happy with them. But as I'm taking time away from them, it might pop into my head and go, you know what? Maybe if this is a better line.
Yeah.
And for me, you can't see the forest through the trees, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just say to comics, man, don't get up every night. You'll get exhausted. You'll get jaded from it. Live your life. When you live your life, that's what you got to talk about. That's what it's the best way to do. Don't give up family time. Don't give up friendship time. Don't give up your own time, because you'll eventually, what'll happen to you, which happened to me, I fucking hated stand-up. I was good at it, but I genuinely hated it. And I remember thinking, like, I got into this because I love stand-up.
Right.
Genuinely love stand-up.
Yeah.
And now for the last, I would say a little over a year, whole new approach. I call up a bunch of clubs, respectfully say, hey man, listen, I just need to take me off the calendar. I can't work there anymore. It's not impersonal, but it's not about your club. It's nothing you do. It's not the money. It's definitely not the money. I promise you. It's my own personal issues I'm dealing with, and I would rather not work the room right now. And I just become a lot happier, a lot more peaceful. My material is better, and I fell back in love with stand-up. Like really fell back in love with it again.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And I never, so I was a kid. I wanted to be a comedian. That's all I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like, God, look at Billy Connolly. That guy, look at that guy. He's doing that. He's saying this, and the whole on this video cassette, and everyone's dying laughing.
Yeah.
You know, and then like, I need more stand up. There was no stand up. All I had was Billy Connolly tapes, and then I got into we used to have them in Ireland. Very, very old, as you'd probably think. It's probably going to sound endearing, but this guy was called the Video Van. He would drive around in a van, and he had all these videos, and you would give him £1, which was $1.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll be back on Friday for it, and you took it for a week, and then you would swap with
library.
your neighbors. Hey, do you want Lethal Weapon for E.T.? All right, I watched that already.
We have the Asian guy.
Right, you have the Asian guy.
Yeah, right.
But it was except they were legit. It was like a mobile blockbuster is the best way to describe
Right.
it.
Okay, yeah.
And you only had X amount of videos, obviously. And I remember I was just in there, and my mother said, just get one. And I saw Eddie Murphy Delirious stand up.
Wow.
And again, I don't know how old I am when that came out. So
I hope over 12.
I could have been around there. I was around there, and then I just watched this. I was like, "What the this?" You obviously don't understand some of the jokes he was saying.
Right.
Until
Yeah.
you look back on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "God damn, this is." And
That
it
was
that's all I
huge,
wanted
though,
to do,
when
man.
that
That's all.
came out. That
That's
was
all I
big.
wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was going to say you get to work with his brother Charlie Murphy. He's dead too.
Yeah.
But you get and then you just kind of I was just in love with stand up. I couldn't get enough of bad stand up. Great stand-up, okay stand-up. I just wanted to be around it, and I'm back to that now. Like I fell back in love with stand-up again because I was able to take a break, pull back, stop taking as many gigs.
Yeah, have some balance.
And did
know?
you call those clubs back and say, I'm available now?
No.
I'm still not going back.
You're still?
Because I found a lot of like 3.5 hours to get to
Sure.
Springfield, New Jersey. Springfield, New Jersey, if you don't know where it is, it's probably 20 minutes over to GW. And as the crow flies, that's about 60
Yeah.
miles from where we are now.
Right.
Shouldn't take you, 3.5, 4 hours to get to a gig. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's not about, now I got to give up early, I got to give up that day. So to avoid that stress of traffic, now I can go, I'll go to a place, I'll write and whatever, I do that anyway. But I'm not doing it. So I didn't call him back and say, hey, I'm going back to your room. I'm just not going to go back to the room.
Wow.
I'm just not.
Oh,
I'm
that's
just not going to go back. So now I only do the rooms that I have. I legit, when I walk in the room, I have fun. I know I'm going to have fun.
Like the brokerage tomorrow night.
Like the brokerage tomorrow night, I'm going to have a blaster. I got my friend Dan Barry opening for me. John Ziegler might swing by a little spot.
Nice.
These are the
That'd be
guys
great.
I started with. You know what I mean? So that to me is just a night of fun.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it is. And I just don't do the rooms anymore. It's like, fuck, I gotta go to this place.
Right.
And which I used to do. I can't do it anymore. And it's that's the, like I said, that's the advice I would kind of when I was told, I realized it wasn't good advice.
Yeah. Well, for you.
For me,
yeah.
for me, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually makes me think of a question though. So you mentioned Billy Connolly and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that were big here were not big there in Ireland, right? You guys had other, like Billy Connolly was not. He's genius. I love Billy Connolly, but he wasn't huge here. He was known.
He made a big impression over here.
Head of the class.
When
He was
right,
on that
which
show.
not from sitcom. I think Whoopi Goldberg introduced him. Whoopi Goldberg brought him over, and he was doing stuff then with Whoopi Goldberg, Robin Williams, and him. were
the
best
comic
friends.
relief and stuff. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the blue skin people, I forget what
Avatar?
that special. No, it was Billy Connolly
I was
special.
seriously thinking the same thing.
I was.
I was like, is he talking
Well,
about
it wasn't
Avatar?
Because he used to do a bit that was Scottish people aren't white. They're blue.
They're a pale blue
They're
kind
pale
of thing.
blue,
Yeah,
pale blue
yeah.
kind of people.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the name of the special,
Right.
I think that I remember, and that was to me that was huge when that came out.
But
Late
but
80s.
who were? I mean, you mentioned Eddie Murphy. I mean, in the early '80s, that thing blew up all over the place. But who were some of the name? Were there other comedians that were popular there?
Nope. When I was
just
as a kid, no, I didn't have anybody. It was Billy Connolly and Eddie Murphy, and
That's
that
it.
was
Okay.
that was all was for me to pick from at least. And then even when I came here, I was like watching, trying to figure out. You turn on when I came here, I didn't have a job right away because you were not illegal, but when you're in the process of your paperwork, which is fucked up. They don't let you work until your paperwork is processed. Even though you're there legally, I processed the paperwork.
Yeah.
But you can't work.
Right.
So you're sitting there like on your ass all day long.
Right.
You don't want to take anything because you're like, I was like, because a friend of mine, he owned a bar. He's like, come on in, man, blah, blah, blah. Just do some bar back and I'll throw you some cash. I'm like, yeah, but if someone comes in and finds that out, I just don't want to do anything to mess up my paperwork.
Right.
I'm very by the rules when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so I'm sitting at home and I would work out all day. I would write whatever, like not really stand up, but just other stuff. I hadn't done stand up at the time when I came here. And I would just watch Comedy Central all day long. And then you start to kind of like, oh, that's bad. That's not a good joke. That's kind of hacky.
Right,
That's
yeah.
you kind of start to pick up on what you like at least. What kind of stuff you. And then when you get into it and you realize how hard stand up is, you know, are I won't even say hard. I think for comics, I don't think stand up is hard. I just think it's your way of figuring it out. Then you're like you find out what moves you, like a Louis, a Billy, a Bill Burr. You know, even I hate saying it because like no, it sounds like I'm making it up, but you give me my top 10 comics, I'm putting Keith Anthony in there.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but then you figure out what, you know, Maria Bamford, someone like that.
Right.
It's like, you know, even now it's like I'm extremely driven by Kevin Hart, and a lot of comics like, really, Kevin Hart? Yeah, man, it's something about his energy, his work ethic, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's just where I am with stand up. It's the greatest, it's the best. It's all I want to do. It's all I want to put my energy into. You know, but I want to put the right energy into it.
Very nice. Wow. I think I got him. He's been flying around.
This
Oh,
fly.
I thought I got him.
away.
He's been flying around the whole.
But he didn't have a gun like a typical
Yeah.
Long Islander.
At one point, he just sat here, and then I noticed Tony noticed. I was like, "Oh, here we go." So then
I
Tony,
was trying to get him with the
Tony's
pen.
like he's gonna get a fly with a pen.
I've done it. I've done it
So-
before.
Yeah, what the hell?
He hits it, it flies right and almost hits you right in the forehead. I'm like,
I'll take it.
Better than other stuff. I mean, that'll cost you extra.
So, govs.com. Go make your reservations for tomorrow night to see Mick Thomas at the brokerage.
what time are you on?
I think the show starts at 8. I think. Yeah, 8 o'clock show. 8 o'clock show. But it's a great night. It's a great lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Barry's
Yeah,
and who?
Dan.
Oh, maybe
John
Ziegler.
Ziegler's going to swing by, do a spot.
Yep.
You know, that's
Ziegler's been
great.
posting teasers from his special. Man,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
man.
with his fake death. Lying piece of shit. Oh, I'm dying of cancer. Come out and see me. Everyone shows up, and all of a sudden, I got better. Did you?
and he looks healthier than ever. He's like the Hulk now.
Yeah,
I know.
he is one of the rare, like, you know, there's only like maybe 4 of 5 cancers that it's a death sentence.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And he got one of them, and then everybody comes out, and then through the miracle of laughter, he's able to dodge a bullet, cash the check. Come on, Ziegler, you fucking fraud.
So funny.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I
So
love
yeah,
Ziegler.
okay. Yeah, come see me this weekend. I also have cancer.
Everybody on the show is.
Yeah.
Well, you never know because the cancer might come back because Mick Thomas kills all the comedians. So there you go. So do you have any other dates you want to mention?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm out in the Funny Bone next week out in Columbus, Ohio. I mean, that's and I'm at the comic strip on the 20th of. I don't know. I got
Yeah.
One of the months.
whatever.
Sometime.
Find me on
Tomorrow night.
Instagram. I post all my shows up there.
It's not
Thomas
booked
Comedy.
yet. It's just, it'll
Yeah.
be there eventually. All right, cool. Very nice. And then what do you got? Are you performing anywhere this weekend? Maybe tonight?
Maybe.
Could be.
You might see Andy Plajanos at the at McGuire's tonight, and you might even see me. I don't even know. And I keep checking too. There's still no messages on it.
Where are you supposed to be? What's the show supposed to happen?
It's a bringer producer.
Okay, who's producing it?
John Butera.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That guy would fucking. He doesn't sell oil skin. You know what I mean? What was it snake skin? What was it? Snake
skin
oil.
oil,
Snake
yeah,
oil.
snake
Yeah.
oil.
That guy should have been selling cars, just shitty Hondas, and stop producing comedy shows with these fucking lies. He's like, oh, you got to come down. We're gonna have, Dave Chappelle's gonna swing by. It's definitely gonna be sold out. Yeah, come down, bring 80 people. You're gonna have a blast. And just kidding. I like John, but don't worry about it. It's probably not gonna hapen.
Well, that's the thing. We've been talking about it because I'm still, very, very new to the stand-up world. I've been a comedy performer. I run a comedy troupe. I've been doing that for almost 30 years. But stand-up, I'm still new, and the whole life behind it, I'm new to. So you have Butera producing this show.
Yeah.
He asked if there are any. He had some people drop out,
Yeah, a
so he
couple
said if
people
there's
dropped
anybody
out.
around who wants to do it. So I said, John, I haven't done any stand-up in a few months. I said, I'll do it if you want. He said, no, I need people that will draw, which I won't draw.
How many times? Not to cut you off.
No, it's
I
cool.
apologize. How many times have you had him on this show?
John on this show?
3 or 4.
At least.
Then you should not have to ask any questions. John, I'm going to jump into a spot. Fuck that. You help me, I'll help you.
Yeah.
That's what it
Okay.
is. You know what I mean? You gave him a platform to sell. tickets if you want to. He should say, "Come on down." Absolutely, it's yours.
Oh,
you
yeah,
come down.
so I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, no, you should have, and you should be thinking about it if you want to be a comic. Don't. That's the thing about this business. And I'm not just saying this about John Butera, because I truly like John, but some of these people, man, will fucking take advantage of the hunger that young comics have.
But
they're starving for stage time. They want to do it. And it's like, yeah, sure, you can do it, but here's what you got to do for me. It's no different than Harvey Weinstein. That's what some of these scumbags are like. You are metaphorically blowing him on a couch. Just so you can say, I'm on a stage at McGuire's. Yeah. Nah, fuck that, man. It doesn't.
But I get it. You
turn up at any one of my shows, I'll put you up for 5 minutes, and that's not bullshit.
No shit.
Just because, fuck it, why not? Why wouldn't I?
But I do understand where he's coming from. I'm not going to put asses in the seats. And
no one is on Long Island at his shows. No one is going to put. Think about it.
All right.
And I love that lineup. I look at these. I see these flyers every week. And I like all those kids on there, man. I truly like all of them. So I'm not saying it. But, like, even I'm not a fucking draw on Long Island. I'm going to say even, like, I've done something.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I'm a nobody.
Come on.
I'm a nobody.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
That's fine. I appreciate that. But nobody's selling tickets, like, especially not on his flyer. You know, the flyers he has, it's like, remember the Muppet Show? Stars with all the heads.
The most sensational.
That's it. And they're all in the thing.
Part, yeah.
You do. Nobody gives a shit. I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a negative way towards John. But nobody is selling tickets. He's not gonna. You know what though? Because fucking, definitely Steve Perello brings him in, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what? It's like, oh, you should have been
Rocco Perello,
right?
Yeah, put the Rocco in there.
You should have been here when Fat Jay was here, man. Oh my, we were turning people away, and I love those guys. But we know where we are in this business, and there's not a couple. Right now, honey, you ready for tonight? What's tonight? We got the fucking Steve Perello tickets. They've been sitting on the dresser.
Knights of Rocco.
For 2 weeks, they've been sitting there. Why aren't you excited? Did you call your mother yet? No. Well, you know what? Maybe we leave the kids at home then if we can't get a sitter. I think it'll be fine. If that house burns down around our children, it's still worth it because we get to see John Butera.
And we have the insurance.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, man, fuck that shit. It's I'm sick of that garbage of just, and again, it's not just, it's not, I mean, John's got a business, John's got to do what he's got to do, but
exactly,
listen,
right,
to say to you that, hey, because you're not going to put asses in the seats, well, you think fucking your servers are blowing up because you had fucking him on here? You know what I mean? Oh, John Butera was on that show this morning. Dude, this isn't Rogan. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He was kind enough to put you on, have a conversation, have some fun with you. Fucking put him on your stage in front of the 6 people. That's all you got to do. Be kind. That's what this business is. Be kind, man. It's not that hard to reach down and show somebody who's going through the same struggles you are, the same passion you have. Right? He's no different than anybody on that flyer. Just fucking put someone up. You know what it's like.
And that's what I was saying to Andy. We're all in this together, and it just confused me because, again, I'm still new to all this. So it confused me that the lineup isn't set yet, because I would think you would need to know that lineup so that you can advertise it. And the people that know that they're definitely in it can push, because he hasn't given a lineup. As of 10 o'clock last night, the show wasn't even definitely on. How are you promoting something, whether it's John or any of the comedians? How are you promoting this when you don't even know it's on?
Yeah.
I was just completely baffled by, again, not knocking John at all. I'm just,
I
went to Andy. I said, is this how you guys, this the life of
this isn't a normal situation.
Right, and that's what Andy
really
told
isn't.
Me. Right.
Yeah, and neither am I. But I think this gatekeeping bullshit of, you don't want to put this person on, but you'll put this person on, and you get nervous. Oh, this guy, I gotta follow this guy now. Dude, it doesn't matter. We're all in the same. Dude, if I figured, and I'm 15 years, and I'm a headliner now, right? But like, I don't ever walk into a club and go, I'm better than anybody in this room. I'm at it longer than people in this room. That's the only difference. And sometimes I'll look back, like last night, like Brian McKenna. I was in it a little bit longer than Brian McKenna, and we would do a show together, and many shows. And I would look back, and I would like, all right, I was stronger here. But then, a few years go by, and you look back, and like, holy shit, McKenna's making me work hard tonight, man, because if I drop the ball for a second, McKenna and these guys pass you by, and we're all, the only difference between you right now and me is that I'm at it longer. That's the only fucking difference. And for people like to exploit that and to think you're not as good as me, you watch me on stage the first time, I got laughs, but I was dog shit, right? And I'm quite happy to say I was dog shit because I was dog shit. Every comic that starts is dog shit. Every one of the starts. Listen to any success story.
Yeah.
You think fucking Dave Chappelle walked up on stage and immediately, boom, all right, we need to sign this guy. Nobody did. And for like someone like Butera to take advantage of that shit, stop doing that, man. We're all in the same boat. Produce
Well, I would
your
even
shows.
say for the people, for the Long Island producers, he's probably the best for putting up. People make fun of him for having so many people on the show.
Without a doubt, man, and he's nice. He's really nice to you. And I walk in, he's never turned me down. But I just stop with the gatekeeping, man. Like, just my point is, I'm a little bit annoyed now because it's you, and you put him on this show. It's not like you're fucking. You know, if you're a mechanic and you fix this guy, you know, so you can do comedy tonight. He's like, you do? You know, I do a show. Why don't you come up and do 5 minutes? Yeah, I just fixed your mufflers. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you return something? Why can't why can't you give something back to somebody that gave you something?
Well, yeah, but
You never ask.
But to be fair, it's a two-way street. Sure, I give him time in here, but it does help me too because he'll bring a comedian or he'll send one of the comedians in, so it gives us somebody to talk to, gives us a guest, it gives us
But he's not Suge Knight.
What's that?
He's not Suge Knight. He doesn't own all the comics on Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You can reach out to anybody on
Yes.
Instagram, any fucking body, and you can touch anybody. He doesn't manage these guys. And again,
No,
it
you're
sounds
right.
like I'm shitting on Butera. I'm not. But like I said, when I see someone like you, who's fucking a nice, kind person, you giving up airtime, dude, I'm not here as a favor for you. I'm here because, like, you know what? There's extra few people watching the show. Maybe I'll push 5 more tickets.
Sure.
It doesn't. Why wouldn't I be? So I'm here. I'm gratefully here. I'm very happy to be here. But when these guys act like they're doing you a favor now, can I do 5 minutes on your show? I'm in the same boat you are. I like stand up. I think I'm funny. I'm just like these guys here. I don't know. You're not going to put asses in seats. You give me one person that poster that's going to sell a ticket. Give me one. Name one that's going to sell a legit. Oh my God, this person is in town.
Right.
Give me one name on that you think honestly can sell a fucking
Are
ticket.
you looking for the poster?
Yeah.
Give me one name. That's going. And I'm saying this with all the respect in the world. I really am. I'm not shitting on anybody because we're all in this game together, man. And that's what it is. It's a game, and you need to fucking learn to play it with people, not play against them. That's it's bullshit. You know, we're all friends. We're all at the same goal. We all want to be funny.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't know what sucks until we get up and try it. And the way I look at comedy, man, is like when you're new, my way of describing this is like you have a basement and it's full of shit. Right? You go into your basement and it's full of shit. Well, that's your mind, right? Yeah. When you got to throw all that shit out, and you're not going to throw it out of your head until you write it down, go up on stage and say it. Go, hey, my GPS. Ugh, a GPS joke. Great. Well, you know what? You know it sucks. It's gone now. You'll never do a GPS joke again because you're better than that.
Right.
GPS jokes went out fucking 10 years ago, right? All right, here's another bit about like airplane food. Ugh, airplane food. That's gone. Your basement is getting less. Now what's left? Your basement's clean. It's open. But now what? Hey, how about this fucking political thing? Like, well, that's new. That's original. I didn't know that. So we're all in the same boat. And the more we do it, the more we fucking clear out this shit. And then when you learn how to figure out your mind and how to produce comedy and how to write a joke, you're not going to get that shit. Fucking someone like John Butera telling you not to come up and do it.
I'd say actually Rob White would. There are people who would.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I love Rob White. The only way he goes in if he's in his tattoo shop and going, hey man, listen, you do comedy too. Thanks for drawing on me. That's a great tattoo. I love the tattoo, and I love Rob White. But like he was going to, oh really? The guy who does the tattoos is here this weekend? No one's going to do it. I love Rob White. Love him.
Yeah, no.
But he's not selling tickets.
That was the only.
What about Larocco?
That was the only one.
He won't
Dale
sell?
Larocco? No, especially not
Because
not
he's
out
new,
there.
And he's another one too. He's an example what I was saying earlier, like Perillo. I remember I saw him first, and you know, I've seen guys go, this fucking guy dressed like a fucking this, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, and I go like, again, that's your art. I don't shit on what you want to do. So you want to go up with a puppet, a guitar, whatever. That's what you choose to do. That's what you're putting out there. And dude, then you watch him. I haven't seen him in years. You go back up like, dude, he's getting stronger. Why? Because he's fucking working on it.
Right. Yep.
We'll all get stronger. We'll all get better if we work on it. But don't have someone fucking tell you can't get up on their stage because you're not them. You know what I mean? It's not like you walk into the Comedy Cellar of a Saturday night with Chappelle, Rock, fucking Louis, Bill Burr, all there in the same night. Yeah, I'm going to come do 5. Well, you're not cellar material yet for a Saturday night. You're not there yet. Then I can understand being turned away. But to do a show with a bunch of guys who are in the very same boat as you, there's no way. And you've done him a favor by bringing him in here. He should absolutely be putting you on. That's my theory.
I hope he's watching.
Someone will watch and tell him Nick Thomas was shitting on you today. He's not shitting on you. I love John Butera. He put me up on a bunch of shows. So I'm grateful for it, but I just don't like that. Help each other out. That's the message. That's all I'm trying to say. Help each other out.
It's just he's a placeholder right now.
Yeah.
It could be any, but literally.
Right. We're all in the same
boat.
boat together, man. Especially Long Island comedy is getting shit on all over the city. It's getting shit on all over the city.
Yeah, what are they saying?
When you go to the city, you don't even tell them you're from Long Island. I'm okay. I got grandfathered in based on because they heard an accent and they say, well, he's not Long Island, he's from Ireland.
Yeah.
But like some of these guys who go in, like Nick Tallelli, they go in. Like I could just fucking name a bunch of them. I don't want to draw a blank. Long Island guys who moved in, they don't say they're from. They say they're from Westchester because there's just a reputation of like Long Island. Long Island
we've
comics.
heard some of that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
So-
and I've heard city comics say, oh, they'll look at someone on stage and they'll be like, oh, they'd never make it in the city. And I wonder, like, what the difference is. Just Laban. Like, I don't know.
They'll never make it in the city because there's just different gears in the city, and then sometimes the people in the city won't make it out here either. So that's bullshit.
Yeah.
True, right.
You have to learn as a comic to figure out what gear. You know what I mean? Like I could do the Borgata. Right, 1,900 people sold out. You go up and you fucking have a great time, and then I could go back down to another club on a Tuesday night, and there's like 6 people in the audience, 6 Germans in the city that are just tourists. I don't walk up and go like, I'm not going to give them a Borgata performance. You got to change that gear.
Okay.
So you got to learn what gear works in the city, what gear works out. And so if the Long Island guys, me included, go into the city with that Long Island gear, it's not going to work. They're not going to. No, we don't want that. So now I'm lucky enough that I've been going to the city for years. I know what gear to be in the city.
Okay.
But the city guys, same thing. There's a gear to be in. There's even different gears in different parts of the city. If you go to the comic strip, the upper, I don't know, is it the west side? Is that the upper west side? That gear is totally different than what it is down on 24th Street at New York Comedy Club. Because they're more woke down here, and you can't say this and you can't say that, or you can say it, but you got to say it more delicate. You got to, if you want to say something that's going to be air quote offensive, then you got to kind of tee it up for them a little bit, just like handle it with baby gloves. Like, this is going to hurt you now. But instead of you go up here, I was like, fucking bang, it's raw. Here's what it is. I'm saying it, deal with it. So every club you do, the suburbs has a different gear than the city, than the corporate gig, than crowd size. There's all different gears, and you're not going to learn that.
Yeah.
You're not going to learn that. So when you get all these guys who just want to stay, you know, in this, we're all in the same boat, and we're all want to do a material
like I've seen you know, comics from the city that are, you know, heavily liberal, like go out to Suffolk County and they just see the faces of, you know, like they they really, you know, they didn't read their audience.
Right, but when they perform with an agenda, that's, you know, that's fine. That's what, again, that's your art form, and that's what you've chosen to talk about, and you can't get mad at people's response because they're just not built like you. That's it. They don't think like you. You know, that's I don't shit on, like, some people shit, like, hey, this guy goes up and he talks about this. Well, that's what he wants to do.
Right.
And if he realizes the crowds are not buying it, then it's up to him or her to change that material. But, you know, that's what it is.
Wow.
So, John Butera, put him on the fucking show.
John.
Jesus Christ. Don't be selfish hog. You know what it's like, John. Don't be that guy. Don't get drunk on power. Because you know what? If just out of spite, I'll start my own fucking production company, and I'll start producing shows, and I'll take all your guys from you. I'll take all your guys, Suge Knight, and it'll be an East Coast versus West Coast shit, and I'll fucking hang you out of
shooting.
I'll
Thanks,
hang you
Nick.
off a fucking balcony until you sign over Steve Perello's contract. I don't give a shit. You put my people up on stage right fucking now, or you're gonna have to deal with me, boy.
Billy Geyer and I have this running joke where Billy's like, I want to end John Butera and take over Aragona's comedy.
That's it. You can have them all, man.
This whole like
That's
mafia.
it. I'll fucking, you know what? You could give me all these guys, and I'll give you Austin Brooks.
I like assholes.
That's fantastic. Mick Thomas tomorrow night at the Brokerage. Go to govs.com and go see him. Lots of great stuff happening at Governor's Comedy Clubs this weekend. Chris Roach is at the Brokerage tonight. Joe Matarese is here at Governor's tonight and tomorrow. The Knights of Rocco tonight in the Giggle Room. The Dan LaRocco birthday bash tomorrow here in the Giggle Room. And McGuire's, I don't know who's there tonight. JJ Ramirez is there tomorrow. Go to govs.com and check out the full schedule, make reservations. And, of course, don't forget knockemdeadcomedy.com. We're performing all over the place as well. So go to knockemdeadcomedy.com. And don't forget the beach. We'll mention the beach real quick before we go.
Okay, sure, shoot.
Don't forget, we're hosting a few of those nights on the beach at the band shell on the boardwalk. August 6th, we'll be hosting. We'll be doing some giveaways. There might even be a comedian or two performing at these shows, but we're going to be giving out passes to the club, and you can come hang out with us. August 6th, there'll be a Led Zeppelin tribute band playing. August 13th, there's a Beatle band playing. August 19th, Half Step, which is a Grateful Dead tribute band, with our very own Tom Sanfilippo, who hosts the show in here. He's playing there August 19th. We'll all be there. August 26th, there's a Fleetwood Mac band playing there. Fleetwood Mac, we know those guys. They're great. We'll be hanging out there. And then August 28th, Sunday, August 28th, for Captain Jack, a Billy Joel tribute. We'll be there as well. Billy Joel's from Hicksville. I threw in my one Hicksville reference for you today. You're welcome.
That's already in my book.
So those are the nights that we're hanging out at Jones Beach. Gov's podcast. Again, we'll have some giveaways, passes to the club, and some other knickknacks and stuff like that. It'll be a lot of fun. And we will be on tomorrow night. We'll be here for live from Governor's Green Room. So maybe we'll try and get Matt Reese in here. And of course, are you a part of that tomorrow? The Dan LaRocco show?
Nope.
In there? Oh, you're not. Are you coming in? Are you joining us tomorrow night?
I don't know. We'll
If Joe Mattery's coming in,
We'll try and grab him.
tell Joe I said hello.
I will.
He opened up a new comedy club. I don't know if you promote.
Yeah, I heard that
good for him
somewhere.
up in
Yeah,
Westchester.
yeah.
B-side Comedy Club. Good for him. Looking forward to getting up there.
Wow, that's great.
But until then, it's tomorrow at the brokerage.
That's right. Okay, so there you go. Go to govs.com. And so, yeah, we will be live tomorrow night for live from Governor's Green Room. And then Sallie and I are back here on Monday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you, pal.
Yeah, thank
Love
you.
it,
A lot
lads.
of
Thanks
fun.
for having me. I had a good time.
Always
Thank you.
great when Mick
Appreciate
is
it.
hanging around. And don't forget the Cheaper Than Therapy podcast. Don't
Yep,
forget.
Cheaper in Therapy and the Manxiety Show.
There you go. And where do they, like, YouTube or the audio?
I'm on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it wherever podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. But,
Excellent.
the video version is on YouTube.
Excellent. There you go. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you guys later. Nice.